think that we pose this kind of question: why sustainable living is important to us? Why we want to talk. The economy depends on energy from the sun, and also depends on natural resources and services provided by our Mother Earth. That's why living sustainably, it means living off Earth natural income without depleting or degrading the natural capital. Because simply stated, our global future depends on it. And the importance of sustainable living is the importance of finding a sustainable future in two issues that is very much linked to one another. That's why we are going to face this kind of sustainable future, and what's here's the relationship to sustainable living. What is environmentally sustainable living? Simply, we know that forests cover 31% of the land area on our planet. They produce also vital oxygen and provide homes for people and wildlife. So many of the world's most threatened and endangered animals live in forests. That's why it's very important. But forests around the world are under threat from deforestation. And this is the big problem. The big problem that we face it is about deforestation, because forests around the world are caused by industrialization. So the fostering of the threat of industrialization, the threat of agriculture, to harvest timber, to create commercial items such as paper, furniture, and homes. That's why our forests are threatened. But since the industrial revolution that we know about it, the world nation have been founded on access to cheap fossil, full energy, such as nations such as China and India that become more industrialized in the global demand and price of fossil fuels. And all this kind of fossil fuels will further increase from decades to decades, as well the emission of carbon dioxide. That's why sustainable living, we pose this kind of importance, because of the emission of carbon emission, because of the population booming, and also because of deforestation. The emission of greenhouse gas emission, what is the effect of this big issue? It's a big threat, because the carbon dioxide can provide incidents of severe weather, can provide geographical changes, can provide changes in food supply, can provide also shrinking water supply. All these kind of things, of all this kind of negative effect, move to us to transform our life to sustainable living. I'm going to share a video, an interactive video prepared for this mission. It's an example of environmental sustainability, and then we can move forward for our sustainable living tour.
In the last year or two, you might have seen an increase in environmental movements, such as the slow fashion movement or the Fridays for Future movement. All of these movements, in some way or another, are related to climate change and environmental sustainability. In September of 2019, over 200,000 youth all across Vancouver and the Lower Mainland participated in the global climate strike. This was part of the Global Week for Future. These strikes were protests demanding for governments to address climate change. While it's pretty inspiring, it got me thinking about other ways to get involved. Sustainable living. Let's see here. Hey, Alan.
Hey, Jen. That hurt.
Oh, you went to the climate strike in September, right? How was it?
Yeah, I did. It was pretty cool. There were a lot of people, and everyone was really passionate.
Sounds like it was a good experience.
What's sustainable living? I heard you talking about it before I fell through the ceiling.
Well, according to greenmatters.com, sustainable living is a lifestyle that aims to reduce one's environmental impact in ways that are both sustainable for the earth and for the person.
Then what should we do if we want to live sustainably?
Well, everyone knows about the reduce, reuse, and recycle model, and that's a great starting point. But there are a lot of other things that we can get involved in if we want to live sustainably. There's a lot to learn about when it comes to sustainability, so let's first take a look at the environmental impact of some industries and what they're doing. Have you ever thought about the production process behind your favorite snack or meal? Because I sure haven't. Turns out, the way that we produce food is much more complicated than some of us know it to be. Quite frankly, a lot of us are distanced from the production process and we don't know too much about it. But that doesn't mean that we can't learn about it now. One of the more popular methods of sustainable agriculture is aquaponics, which is a combination of aquaculture and hydroponics. Essentially, you can grow fish and plants together in the same system, and it's pretty cool. But what is aquaculture and hydroponics, and how does aquaponics work? Aquaculture, according to the Canadian Aquaculture Industry Alliance, is the farming of aquatic organisms like fish, mollusks, crustaceans, and aquatic plants. On the other hand, hydroponics is the cultivation of plants in nutrient-enriched water, with or without the mechanical support of an inert medium such as sand or gravel. Essentially, what that means is growing plants directly in water without any other medium for their roots to grow in. So, what exactly does an aquaponics system look like, if it's combining both aquaculture and hydroponics? There is more than one way to set up an aquaponics system, and it really depends on what you want to get out of it. These setups can range from one-container kitchen setups to grow a few herbs, to huge industrial systems that are capable of growing enough to feed a small town. The one that I've had the chance to work with looks like this. Chemically, how this aquaponics system works depends heavily on the nitrogen cycle. When fish breathe, they produce ammonia. If the ammonia concentration in the water is too high, the fish can die. This issue can be solved by a type of bacteria that is found in the air. The bacteria, which forms the biofilm, takes in the ammonia and in return gives off nitrite and nitrate. Plants require these two chemical compounds to grow, and they will take up these from the water using their roots. Aquaponics essentially allows fish waste to be transformed into nutrients for the plants, while also filtering the water and making it suitable for the fish. So, how does aquaponics compare with aquaculture and hydroponics, or even normal farming? Aquaculture produces a lot of fish, but also produces a lot of fish waste that can end up polluting the ocean. This waste often needs to be chemically or physically removed, which can further damage the environment. Hydroponics, while efficient, requires chemical solutions to replace and maintain pH and nutrient levels in the water the plants grow in. These chemicals are often toxic and very difficult to dispose of. The genius of aquaponics is that it combines the benefits of both aquaculture and hydroponics, while also largely negating the use of chemicals to maintain the health of the system. In traditional farming, up to 90% of the water that is used to water crops ends up evaporating, is contaminated by fertilizers and pesticides, or is drained and returned to the water table below the surface of the earth. On the other hand, in an aquaponics system, only up to 10% of the water is evaporated. Water can be conserved and circulated back throughout the system. All in all, aquaponics is still a revolutionary, eco-friendlier method to growing and supplying food. We often don't hear about the environmental impacts of the clothing we wear. Your closet and what you're wearing. Do you know what material makes up the majority of your clothing? The world's most popular fabrics are cotton and polyester, both of which have significant environmental impacts. Cotton is the world's thirstiest crop and is often treated with pesticides that are capable of poisoning water supplies. It can take up to 2,700 liters of water to produce a single cotton t-shirt. Polyester is a petrol-based fabric and is a form of plastic. It's also really cheap. Washing these fabrics, though, can release plastic microfibers into the water supply, which will eventually reach the ocean where it can damage marine life. But cotton and polyester aren't the only materials that are used in our clothing. There's natural fabrics like cotton, wool, silk, linen, hemp, and tencel. There's also synthetic fabrics like polyester, lycra, viscose, nylon, and acrylic. One of the best steps to take as consumers is to be conscious of the purchases that we make, and to buy items of clothing when we only really need to. Choose to consider the amount of times you will use or wear an item before you purchase it, whether it be clothing or even something else. So we've taken a look at how two industries impact the environment, but how can we make a difference in our everyday lives? Well, you can start with components of your everyday life. In your mind, walk yourself through what a typical day in your life looks like. Do you use a lot of items that have a lot of packaging? Consider switching to something with less packaging or packaging that is compostable. Do you use plastic utensils when you're eating lunch? Consider bringing reusable utensils, even if it seems like a hassle at first. Do you use a lot of single-use items, like paper cups or takeout containers? Consider bringing your own reusable ones. Need to get somewhere? Can you bike or walk or even carpool instead of driving by yourself? Reduce, reuse, and recycle. Decide what items you can reduce the use or purchase of. Find creative ways to reuse items that you already own instead of buying new ones. Research and see if you can find places to recycle items you would otherwise chuck in the trash. Remember, a sustainable lifestyle is sustainable for the earth and yourself. If you're interested in learning more, I have linked some resources in the description box below. Thanks for
So as we see there in the video, it's a whole process of sustainable living. I'm going now to move in our presentation to dig deeper about this tool of sustainable living. I'm going to share now the screen. Also about sustainable living, consumerism, and occupational hazards. And that's why I'm going to talk about it, this kind of conception, because we can't live sustainably without knowing and learning and acting about our conception ways and our also occupational hazards. But what means? We know there is a simple quote about Dalai Lama. He said, the natural environment sustains the life of all being universal. We know that because without the natural environment, we can be dead. So what means exactly sustainable living, and why, and from which resources can implement it? It's from the Sustainable Development Goals, the United Nations Agenda from decades to 2030, Sustainable Development Goals. It contains 17 goals, because sustainability could be defined as an ability and capacity of something to be maintained or to sustain itself. So without these goals, we can't really compromise the potential of people, and also we can't respond to the future needs. So sustainable development goals are here to meet the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generation to meet their own needs also. That's why sustainable living is there. But exactly how we can direct sustainable living to foster sustainable development goals. Sustainable living, we know that's a lifestyle in our homes, in our daily routines, to reduce an individual or society use of the earth, natural resources, and personal resources. So the main cause of sustainable living is to reduce this dependence on natural resources, because we are living in this Mother Earth, and to make also a lesser negative impact on the environment. By simple, easy ways and practical ways, we can implement it in our home, in our daily routine. Let's start by these ways. You have to become a member of a community garden. If we can really implement that, we can move on. Then you can change the life in your house. Then you can practice minimalism. Then you can become more efficient with your errands. Also, you can start by using natural cleaner. You can start by using bike or carpool to work. You can also, by easy way, spend more time reading and playing games, and try to get on a more natural sleep schedule, because it's very important to our health, to our occupational health. Some other easy way to practice in our daily routine, we say that in the animated video, the cycle of reduce, reuse, and recycle, the unplug device when not in use, the buying of right-sized house according to our needs, the using of daily light as much as possible, and also stopping unwanted mails, we call junk emails. We can also practice by keeping zero energy balanced budget, and also change our washing habit in our house. We can also choose renewable energy. Also, some ways, easy ways to implement it in our daily life is costing money and also consumption and waste. We can ditch the plastic. We can skip single-use items. You can carry our own reusable shopping bags. We can also use sustainable technology that is providing a sustainable, healthy life. So all these simple, easy ways, we are going to dig deeper about how to practice it these ways. If you want to become a member of a community garden, you have just to start growing your own food and being a member of a community garden if you don't want to implement it in your own home, or to help to promote sustainable living in your area, in your city. Because garden create green spaces, and the garden also waste can be mulched and returned to support healthy soil. So creating this kind of community garden and this kind of green spaces aren't just important for your state of mind to feel very happy and to feel sustainable and to feel healthier, but also it fosters to decrease carbon emission. And also it's important to urban area in our city. They can play an important role also. So that's why becoming a member of community garden, it's important. From your house, if you want to change your lights, you have to switch to some less consumption light by changing simply your own light from traditional one to most sustainable one that reduce your dimension and also reduce your energy resources. So this kind of concept, this kind of change in your house, it's longer lasting, because you will gain money and you will gain in consumption. It's a kind of longer lasting. It's a kind of light sources that reduce the amount of waste going into our landfill. If you want to practice minimalism, what means minimalism? Minimalism is such a word about being minimal. Yeah, you have to simplify as much as possible your life by using a single calendar system, by having a minimalist wardrobe in your house, in your room, by developing ritual routines from morning to evening, by keeping also a life binder, by practicing minimalism even in your most daily life. And also you can simplify that by sticking to a budgeting system and eating simply as much as possible. This is minimalism. Minimalism or be minimalist doesn't mean living without anything. You have to live according to your needs, but making sure that everything you own and use is put to a maximum purpose just on your needs, such as metal materials. When we want to implement it in our minimalist lifestyle, we can be more mindful of the item you support being produced. So you are really in a situation of sustainability and sustainable living. You are living and practicing minimalism with simple way. If you want to become more efficient with your errands, you don't have to buy in hybrid to reduce your fossil fuels. You have to choose to become more efficient with your errands by creating a system of sustainable living based on a simple amount of natural resources you consume. And you can also switch that to your children and switch that to this kind of errands to your daily life, to your entourage. If you want to start using natural cleaner in your home, in your daily routine, just buy green cleaning supplies. You have to take an hour or so to research some homemade option for natural cleaning. Start by that, and then when you capture this kind of green cleaning, you will capture more services aligning with like saponin from your nose, where is the natural laundry detergent, because it's very important and not toxic one. And also we can use some natural cleaner by reducing the amount of plastic packaging that is being made and the amount of chemicals that are being introduced to the water system. Just using this natural cleaner can really, from time to time, improve your health and improve also your sustainable lifestyle. When you want to go to the work or to go to some errands and to go to your activities, your daily activities, well, you don't have to use your car. Just use a bike or carpool to work to reduce really your consumption and also to protect the environment. We know that the less personal use of your car is the more that your environment will benefit, because sustainable living not only promoting sustainable consumption, but also reducing pollution, reducing impact on the environment by walking, biking, by also reducing the strain on public health resources. This kind of simple way, you can start with it. Even the carpooling system, it's very important because it assists the sustainability living process, because it provides an increased social outlet that can improve the quality of our life. So when we use bike or carpool to work, this is really a real connection between your quality of life and between the sustainability lifestyle. This is something that you wanted to choose and to lead also, because when you be the first actor to use this kind of sustainability ways, then you will reflect and impact also your entourage to do the same thing. So if you want to spend more time reading and playing games, this is also a part of sustainable living. How? By producing your reliance on entertainment form that requires energy and natural resources that can help you to reduce the demand and the strain also on them, with less watching on TV and spend more time reading or writing or playing games. This is the kind of switching to more sustainable living routine. If you want also to get on more natural sleep schedule, because we know sustainable living can affect our health, so just make some habits to fix your sleep schedule. Wake up and go to bed at the same time every day. Ensure some good sleeping environment. Use your energy through the day. Eliminate screen time an hour before bed, especially 2 hours before bed and 1 hour before waking on the morning. And you can also separate your spaces and don't work in bed because it's very harmful. So this kind of natural sleep schedule we can implementing in our daily routine to become more more sustainable, and also to reduce our consumption and our daily consumption, such as natural light in the day and light on the night. So not only this is better for your health, but we will also begin to lessen the amount of power that you use while you are up. So this is kind of habits that can really implement it. The cycle of 3 areas, what means reduce, reuse, and recycle, is such a kind of process of cycle that you need to buy new products, reducing your need to buy new products, and switch to less waste, and then switch to less recycle or reuse it for an impactful thing. So learning this kind of process to reuse items and repurpose them for different use is very important to manage our daily life waste. We can recycle aluminum cans. We can also recycle many things. So keeping a recycle bin at your home is very important, to try making more trips to the recycling station than the land and live. So this is the kind of recycling, because we want to be happier in our lifestyle, and also we want to impact the Mother Earth. If you want to unplug devices when not in use, such unplugging your charger when you are not using it, it's a kind of sustainable living action. So because most of our electronic devices are really providing much more consumption in our daily life. So keeping on drawing electricity even when they are off, because we want to reduce our energy usage, and also we want to save energy and reduce our monthly electricity bills. So help yourself to conserve energy and turn off light when you are living. Let's move to our sized house. We want to live in the right sized house. Just you can buy right sized house. Practitioners of sustainable living conduct their lives in ways that are consistent with sustainability. That's why there is many ways to promote this kind of process. And one of them is buying a smaller house that is less consuming of energy, and also less consuming comparing to such a big house. So you are going to spend less on lighting and spend less on your furniture, buying less furniture, and also in your overall furnishing. So buying a right-sized house is such an action to implement your sustainable living lifestyle. When we want to use daylight as much as possible in our life, we know that we can't live without the sun, the natural sun, and sunlight is free and doesn't cost anything. But if you want to implement this kind of action in your daily life by using sunlight during the day to help you reduce dependence on fossil fuels, And also because fossil fuels, it's really a big issue because we use fossil fuels to produce electricity, and your bulbs and your tube lights are going to last longer. So switch to use as much as possible the sunlight, the using daylight sunlight. So practicing also an energy balance budget, it's a kind of action to reduce your consumption, especially in money consumption. So keeping this zero energy balanced budget, how we can really keep it? It's like balancing between two things, the consumption and the production. When we want to use some kind of energy, zero energy balanced budget, we have to use some HVC system. We have to use such mass lighting system. All this kind of consumption system and process can really balance our production of energy. So this is really the core of all sustainable living. If you practice keeping a budget that has a zero energy balance, you will be surprised at how your habits of consuming will change. And also you will observe some kind of change in your footprint, carbon footprint. We call it that carbon footprint on the world. So this is kind of practicing a zero energy balance budget. About your house, we know that every day we use our washing machine. So how we can implement this kind of action by changing our washing habit to save also water and consumption of our energy, our consumption of washing energy. So this is very important to attain sustainable living. When we wash everything too much, so we are wasting many things. Not only science discovered that, but also being clean has reduced our natural immune resistance system to disease. But each person wastes tremendous amount of water when they bath and when they wash dishes, and also when they do laundry. So practicing this kind of washing habits is taking short and times showers into attention, because washing dishes in a sink of water and then rinsing them and cutting down them on the amount of laundry, this is a kind of action that can reflect and impact our washing habits, like shower instead of taking a bath, like turning off the faucet when you brush your teeth, like also not using toilet as a waste of basket. This is kind of washing habits that we can really align with in our sustainable living lifestyle. Renewable energy is very important, and when we choose renewable energy, we foster our health, and also we increase negative impact on the environment, because renewable energy is a kind of system over fossil fuels that is toxic, that is a negative system. So when we choose this kind of process, is to stop also climate change problems nowadays, and doing also your kind of your action part, your sustainable part to making things happen. So as people, as a human being, we want to live in this kind of environment with renewable energy by simply installing solar panels for solar water heating. And also you can speak to your utility is any way to add the clean power to the grid, so as to offset your carbon footprint also. When we explore this kind of renewable energy, is a kind of reducing our consumption, our energy bills, our electricity bills also. And also we can get many options from tax credit from the government, because There is many ways we can get that to choose the much suitable renewable energy and healthier one in our house. Packaging is very important. We sell and buy every day in our daily life. So switching to buy product with less packaging is very important. Whenever you go out for shopping or buying products with less packaging, especially. So this kind of excess of packaging, we use it every day, goes in your dustbin, and from there it goes to landfills in most cases. So it's not only further contaminate to environment, but also it poses serious health effect to human and animals. So there is no choice. We have to make the right choice by using less packaging and less waste management. Ditching the plastic. It's a big issue. The plastic never goes away. So it takes millions of years for plastic to decompose. So it's really a negative impact on the environment and the future generation. Plastic can be found in the ocean surfaces, swirling. So it affects also the marine life. And every year, a large number of mammals, seals, and seabirds are killed after ingesting plastic and getting tangled up in it. So it's time for us to take action to ditch our plastic and to switch to reusable bags when we shop, and ditch one-time use plastic water bottles. So bring your own bags and use some reusable bottles. It's very important to decrease this negative impact on our health and the environment. Skipping single-use items. We encounter in our everyday life some single-use items. So like plastic straws, like toilet papers, like also paper towels. So plastic grocery bags also. So this kind of single-use items is really able to remove all this kind of items, but it can surely cut down the use of some of these items. So let's skip this kind of items in our daily life, and carry on, and by carrying also our own reusable shopping bags. Why not? It's a kind of process in the 3AS process. We know that we don't forget about shopping every day. So whenever you go to a local market or nearby mall for shopping, always carry your reusable shopping bags. It's very important. It's not a matter of shame to carry reusable bags along with you, but instead of that, you are showing yourself and the entourage our responsibility towards sustainable living lifestyle and the environment also. Using sustainable technology is also an important action to sustainable living process. Make use of rechargeable batteries, switch to sustainable search engine like Ecosia. It's a very famous engine. They run 100% on renewable energy, and also they use some of their profit to plant trees. So we can switch to this kind of engine. And also you can donate your old devices, if you have it in your house, to poor kids or to some non-profit organization. To this kind of action, of donation action, is kind of decreasing our waste management, our local waste management. So I'm going to introduce some sustainable technology in green construction that we're facing in our everyday, like solar power. We call it also passive solar power, like biodegradable materials, like green insulation in our house to reduce acoustic and also acoustic isolation, to increase acoustic isolation, and also the use of smart appliance in our houses. like also using cool roofs or green roofs, green balcons, sustainable resource sourcing, and electronic smart glass in our house. This is kind of top sustainable technology that we can implement it in our house, in our green construction or green home. So green construction is very important. That's why it's really aligning with living sustainably. So green consumption, it's closely the source of sustainable development goals. But green consumption really, it's what? It's our behavior, it's our habits, it's the consumer behavior. When we change this kind of behavior, then we can change the planet. So it's a form of consumption that is compatible with the safeguard of the environment for the present and for the next generation also. So it's our responsibility to be eco-responsible and to address this kind of environmental problems by green consumption. So using some organic product, using clean and renewable energy, like I said, using also some good produced product by company, especially because many company can also align with this kind of process, zero good product. And also we can use zero emission vehicle in our daily life and also impact the economy, the circular economy. So green consumption, as I said, is about behavior. It's a form of environmental behavior, professional environmental behavior, which can define it as a form of consumption that harm the environment and also benefit the environment. So the key is our behavior. And there is many research providing this kind of process, empirical support to the claim that green consumer behavior is multi-dimensional construct within is a composite of two things, two main things: private sphere behavior and public sphere behavior. Private sphere behavior is referring to our purchasing, our using and disposing the personal and household product that they have, which they have environmental impact, such as automobiles, public transportation, and recycling. This is a private sphere behavior. The public sphere behavior, it's referring as a behavior that reflecting the environment directly by committing environmental activism or influencing public policies. So active involvement in environmental organization is a kind of public behavior to demonstrate and to foster this kind of direct impact, and also this kind of petitioning on environmental issues. So these two pillars of green consumer behavior is really practical in our daily life. You can choose if you want to be a private sphere behavior or if you want to be a public sphere behavior, depending on your goals. So the green consumer is like avoiding products that are likely to endanger the health of the consumer or others. And also it's like causing significant damage to the environment during manufacturing and during also using and disposing. We also consumers, as a consumers, we disproportionate amount of energy and causing unnecessary wasting. So green consumer is using material from threatening species or environment and involving unnecessary use or currently to animals that affect other countries. So there is many principal area of developed green consumption if you want to develop that in green energy, in green food, and also in green fashion. This kind of green energy, like I explained it in our first slide, is to provide and to foster yourself into energetic process with little pollution, like I said, solar energy and green energy and like that. So green foods